Hey, what's up guys? My name's James Diamond and welcome to the first episode of the series here on Sonic Academy. This is how to make a psytrance track. A lot of you may know me from my usual style, which is uplifting trance, but as I'm an engineer I make music with many different artists and many different styles. I need to be able to create those different types of music to the same standard of what the people are releasing in that scene. I've also dabbled quite a lot in psytrance, so Sonic Academy have drafted me in to do this tutorial, this video series to help you through it. So I'm really looking forward to that. So as you saw in the first introductory video, we listened to the track that we're going to make. Very cool, kind of your typical driving kind of bass line, nice kind of atmospheric sound effects, some acids in there and some vocals. So in this episode we're going to be starting from the very scratch and we're going to be looking at the kick. Now, as with all dance music, the kick especially for me is the most important part of the track. If you've got a weak kick, then it can break the track. If you've got a really strong kick, then it can make the track, and that's the kind of way that I look at it. So we want to really create a very nice kick drum, get it carved out so that it really helps drive along the track. So rather than what I would normally do and what many other people would normally do is use a sample for the kick, what we're actually going to do, we're going to use the awesome Nicky Romero kick plugin, which is available on the Sonic Academy website. It's a fantastic plugin for creating kicks. There's so many different parameters. You can really control the way that the kick sounds and all the different toggles and things like that. So just going to rename it, give it a color. Let's just add it to the mixer channel. I'll just bring down the volume a little bit there and we'll add in our 4 kick hits. So let's just have a listen to the standard kick and see how that sounds. So it sounds pretty cool already, to be honest. It's got a real nice kind of warm low end to it. It's a little bit long, it kind of drags on a little bit, and as we're at 138 BPM, that might kind of overlap into the different kicks, and it's not really kind of the sound that we're looking for, but it's a good starting place. So the great thing about this plugin is that you can actually control the attack of your kicks by loading in your own sounds, your own files through this section up here. There's lots of different ones that you can choose from, but I've already gone ahead and actually created my own. It was basically a kick drum that I really liked, that I've used in some of my other psytrance productions, and I've just cut the attack of it and rendered that out, and then we're going to load that back into this kick plugin. So I'm just going to hit the load button and I'm going to hit on my cyclic. So now if we just listen to this and see how that has changed. So that sounded pretty cool. It's got a bit more of a tack on it now. It's kind of like it says, it's a cyclic. Very nice click sound. It's going to help punch through the mix and really be the driving section of the track. So I'm actually going to leave the pitch section by itself. I quite like the deepness of the sub itself, so I'm going to leave that. But what I am going to do first of all is I'm going to go to the amp section, and this is where I'm going to really kind of carve out the sound of the sub itself. So the click sound, that's going to stay the same, but we're going to carve out the sub part of it. So I'm just going to go ahead and play around with these and try and find something that sounds pretty nice. So let's go for it. So as you can see there, we're moving this second last toggle here, and the further to the left, the shorter the kick, further to the right, the longer the kick. So we're going to shorten this up to make it nice and punchy and short. About there sounds good. And let's have a look at the attack of the sub. So I believe the way that it works is that the cyclic is going to play in this section here, and then we're going to gradually bring in the sub section, which can be controlled just by clicking on the line here, and you can control the kind of curve of it. So let's just have a listen with like this. So that's sounding pretty nice. I'm liking the sound of that so far. We're going to have a look at some other sections. So let's just play around with the... Going to leave the EQ, but we're going to play around with the sub and the drive and see how they sound. So if I bring the sub volume all the way down, we're just going to be left with the click, so you can hear exactly what I loaded in to start with. So that's the click sound. Obviously it's very short, but it's got that real nice attack to it. And then we can merge in the sub. So I think round about there works quite nicely. Let's add some drive. Too much. I think round about there works quite well. We'll have a look at this distortion setting down here. You can really kind of go to town on it. It does add a hell of a lot of distortion, so you need to be very careful. I'm going to bring the tone all the way down, and I'm just going to add some subtle distortion to see how that sounds. Obviously there's a bit too much, you can hear it starting to distort, but in between this section here it did really kind of add nice kind of low ends and attack to it. So let's just kind of see where we can get this sounding right. So that's sounding pretty nice. I might just play around the sub a little bit more. I think that's sounding pretty good, to be honest. Very nice low end, really nice attack to it, so that should really help it come through in the mix. So the next thing I'm going to look at is maybe let's just add a little bit of compression. So we'll try the fruity limiter. We're going to change it to the compression mode. Let's put the ratio at 4:1. Bring up the attack, bring down the release. I'm not actually a fan of this compressor, so it may not work too well, but let's just have a listen. So it's kind of adding a little bit of more kind of attack to the kick itself. That's going to help it kind of come through in the mix a little bit better. I'll go through and I'll just show you with another compressor. So this is from Slate Digital, from the Virtual Bus Compressors. It's a great plugin. And we're going to be using this throughout the kind of the tutorials and things. It's really great. I suggest you go out and grab it. I picked it up on discount. I think it was only maybe about £100, £110. It was like $160 or something like that. We got it on special offer, and it's really great. It comes with 3 different plugins in the set. So I'll just kind of show you what I might do with this compressor. So again, we're going for a 4 ratio, a fast release, and maybe a slowish attack. And that compression is a lot more evident than it is on the fruity limiter. So as we listen to it, basically you can hear that the attack of the kick becomes a lot more prominent as it kind of even increases the high end, and that's what's going to help it really punch through in the mix. There's also this great parameter here that you can bring up the low cut, so everything below 84 Hertz will not be compressed. So we can kind of dial in exactly how much compression we want to use. But for the sake of the video, that was just a kind of small explanation of what I really do with my kick drums. What I'm looking to do with a compressor is to increase the attack of the kick itself, and also tighten up the low end. So I'm going to leave that off, and I might just bring this one back in, as that adds a little bit of attack to it. So let's just add some EQ and Don't really need too much because it's a very nice kick sound already, but let's just bring down the low and let's just boost around the kind of 70-80 hertz section. Sounding pretty good. One thing that I forgot to do is that we're going to turn this to mono. It's just turning it to mono with this. This is like 100% stereo separated. This is 100% mono. You want to keep your kick drums right down the center. It sounded pretty good. There is a little bit of resonant frequency in there, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to find the resonant frequency of this kick drum and I'm going to bring it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a small bell curve and I'm just going to kind of go through the different frequencies down here. It's usually between like 100 and 200 hertz, and I'll find that resonant frequency, then pull it out. So I think it's about there, it's like 132. So if I just bring this down and bring it back up, you can hear there's a kind of bit of not very clear, it's kind of a bit of a muddy sound. It's got that weird kind of low ends that doesn't really sound very nice. It's not quite sub and it's not quite mid. So what we're going to do, we're just going to dip this out, and what that's going to allow is that the low ends to breathe through a little bit more. So you can hear that really helps the low end come through. And now let's just boost this low end up a little bit more. That's sounding pretty good. I'm just going to take out a little bit of mid. And add a tiny bit of high. So there we go, that kick is sounding very nice indeed. Obviously it was a little bit of a longer process rather than just using a kick sample, but this plugin is absolutely fantastic to be able to create your own kicks, and really easy, all the kind of different parameters and things like that. Obviously the main thing, like I talked about, was getting the right side click in there. So there we go, that was the first episode. Join me in the next one where we'll be looking at the kick and the bass line and how to EQ and create these and get them sounding great together. Thanks, and I'll see you then. Bye.